Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to 215 Sports Podcast with your host, Andrew Glover, and sitting across from me in a very hot room is Tyler Luja.
What's going on? It is hot in here today.
It is very hot.
It's a lot hotter than usual.
Cold outside and very hot in this room. Like, I'm sweating.
I know. Do you see me over here? I'm literally fanning my shirt.
We were just talking about how hot Citizens Bank Park can get in the summer, and it feels like we're sitting...
Feels like we're sitting in that sun right now.
Pretty much, yeah. But that's a completely different sport.
Yeah,
that's not in season right now.
We can talk about the stadium discussions later.
Obviously. But the Eagles scraped by another win. They defeated the Lions 16-9. They're 8-2 on the year. Are they playing like an 8-2 team? Do they deserve to be 8-2? Well, the defense says otherwise.
I mean, I think they deserve to be 8-2.
They do. The defense does say. The defense plays a key role into this 8-2 record. They're playing like a championship defense.
You also got to remember the special teams. Special teams has won them at least 2 or 3 games so far this year.
Without Jordan Davis blocking that field goal.
Yeah, with the Rams. And
that game is a loss for the Eagles.
They blocked another field goal the week after against Buccaneers.
Yeah, that turned into a touchdown.
Yeah, and that ended up,
That was a one-score game final.
Right, so that ended up winning them that game. So you've won at least 2 games so far off the strength of your special teams as well.
The defense is fantastic. The offense is still iffy. Now, this is week 12, and the offense is still iffy like this. This is not a good thing to consider going into another game in which they're going to play the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Dallas did score over 30 points in their previous game Monday night, but also they're playing the Las Vegas Raiders, and obviously the Raiders.
Yeah, Raiders aren't very good.
The 2-7 mighty Raiders shouldn't be taken as tough competition, but
plus I think the whole fact that the Cowboys as a team collectively were playing that game for Marshawn Nealon also impacted how well they played.
Obviously, that game had a lot of impact on that.
They really stepped their performance up, I think, because of that. And, well, I don't know if I'm expecting to see a little bit of a drop-off because you're not going to be able to have that same fire, passion, and intensity every single time you go out there for the rest of the year. But I do think that heavily favored in the Cowboys' favor. That was like very much something that the Cowboys used to their advantage against the Raiders. And I don't know if you're just going to get that same energy and determination when they come out this week because, you're another week removed from it happening. I understand that they're all still going to be playing the entire rest of the season for Marshawn Nealon, but you got to expect that first game was probably going to be their best game that they were going to play because of that situation.
When most athletes end up passing away.
Yeah, or even when it's not like someone passes away, where it's like, how many times you see the head coach get fired and the team gets invigorated that first game and then they're flat the next 3. So I do feel like that.
It could happen that Dallas could fall flat, especially after what we've seen out of the Eagles defense, only letting up 16 points the last 2 games against really good offenses, give or take.
I mean, they took a team that averages 29 points and held them to 9.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Week. That's insane. You held them to 20 points less than their average. That's incredible defense.
That's the first time the Lions have not gotten
double-digit points in 2 years.
Yeah, double-digit points in 2 years.
Which is crazy.
Impressive to say that offense was able to score double digits for almost 2 consecutive seasons, and then they run flat-footed when they come into Philadelphia.
Yeah, and once again, same with the previous week, I do think that the wind definitely may have had a effect on how the offense is played, because they were talking about that on the broadcast all night.
The wind. And
they were 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
There was a replay before the game where both kickers missed by 50. That's why the Lions went for it so much on 4th down.
Yeah, because you're not going to kick into 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
And they also had Dan Campbell calling the plays as well with the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and you got to expect he's going to always be uber aggressive.
He was very aggressive on 4th down, and it clearly didn't work. The Lions went 0 for 5, and they went 3-13 on third down.
I mean, there were a couple of times where I looked at Dan Campbell and I was like, really? You're not just going to punt this one away? You're going to give the Eagles the
He
ball
was
back
taking
at
a lot of risk,
midfield?
and I was like, wow, you're really going to go for this again? Really, after what the Eagles have done all game?
I was surprised by how he just kept going for it on fourth down. Like, he just, no matter what, he just kept going for it.
There were some crucial drops, too, by Lions receivers. There was one by Amon-Ra.
Williams had one that was pretty bad.
Had one that was dropped, yep.
I think Khalif Raymond had a third down that he ended up dropping. He was not good
either, returning punts either. He was getting crushed every single time. Like, dude, you're right there, and the defender's coming straight at you like a missile. You got to call a fair catch, my guy.
One thing that I definitely can say is Keely Ringo is really good at special teams, like running down.
Yeah, at special teams, getting not good at
getting the guy
cornerback,
which is really, really strange because you would think that skill would translate well to someone running a route, don't you? Like, you think that skill of him being able to beat his, like, shed his blocker to run straight to his man would also translate into him being able to run with someone. He's not a good
cornerback, but Jackson had a good night too.
Yeah, Dory Jackson did have a good night.
Even when he was on Amon-Ra St. Brown, dude, he held him. Like, and that was crazy.
He did have the one play with Jameson Williams, but
yeah,
I mean,
that was the only explosive play.
Jameson Williams is one of the fastest players in the NFL. It's not like it's just a Dory Jackson that you're going to see get run by Jameson Williams this season. He's probably going to do that to another 5 more cornerbacks.
He could do that to Patrick Surtain.
Exactly. Like, the dude is just lightning fast. There's only so much you can do if you're not as fast as the guy. You know, like, you can't really do too much about that. But he did do a very good job, I think, most of the night on all of his coverages.
Yeah, especially against really good receivers, too.
Yeah. And it's very troubling that on the opposite end, Detroit had backups in for their cornerbacks, and Jalen in this offensive game could not get anything going their way either.
You think AJ would have, after his pigeon, you think he would have gone off for like 8 receptions, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns, but instead he was getting cooked by Temple tough Rocky Yassin.
I gotta say, Rocky Yassin had a fantastic day.
He did.
He played really, really good.
AJ was targeted 11 times after his little episode, and he only got 7 receptions for 49 yards. All right, you're getting targets, but that's little to no gain. I mean, 7 receptions for 49 yards, that's not even 50 yards. And then the Eagles practically won the game on a terrible pass interference call that was called on Rock Yassin.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times are you gonna be able to cover AJ Brown successfully in a game? I mean, he did it basically 80% of the time he was covering him. So the fact that he was like the last, isn't he like the 4th cornerback, the 3rd or 4th cornerback for that team, and he was sticking AJ Brown? That doesn't really
both of those starting quarterbacks were injured.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they had a starting safety that was out too.
Yeah, they had a lot of players out. They had defensive players out.
Yeah,
Laporta was out.
I know leading into the game, I think it said that they had 11 guys that were questionable on whether or not they were actually going to play that game. Like 11 guys that were game time decisions. That's nuts. So I don't know what's going on with their strength and conditioning and like the health program over there, but there's something going on.
So you can say that the Lions did deal with a lot of injuries, but the guys that came in stepped up.
Yeah, they did, and they performed fantastically. I mean, they held Jalen to 14 completions as well. 135
yards. Hurts was just throwing. He was just throwing just to throw, man. He was throwing everything, I swear.
I mean, there were a lot of overthrows.
He was throwing a lot, and I feel like, and you did say, like, with the wind, there could be a factor. Well, there's going to be no wind in their next game because they're going to be playing in a dome.
Going to be very,
Hurts
very
should have
good.
No problem, locating his targets.
Yeah, and I do think that the wind definitely played a part in it because both quarterbacks were absolutely awful.
Yeah, Goff was terrible.
Like, Goff went 14 for 37. That's a 30 8% completion percentage.
Yeah. He threw an interception to Cooper DeJean.
His quarterback rating was 9, dude. At the end of the game, his QBR was a 9.
The defensive line was swatting the ball away like they were blocking basketballs.
Yeah, JD and Jalen Carter.
Yep, Davis and Carter were jumping up there like a center. Slap that shit out of here.
And they were saying on the broadcast that I'm not entirely sure who their defensive line coach is, but apparently that was like a big sticking point all week in practice because Jared Goff throws from like a bit lower of an arm angle, I guess, than other quarterbacks do.
So they were able to get to that.
Right.
And that's how they were able to slap as many balls away as they could.
Yeah, and that's just great coaching. Like, that's great, like, that's great coaching, film study to figure that out, to be like, yo, this guy throws the ball a little bit lower than most other quarterbacks. You guys might be able to, really get your hands in there and affect the play. And they got the interception on the first one. Cooper DeJean got that tip ball. And basically after that happened, Jared Goff just did not look like he was comfortable the entire rest of the game. He was getting pressured every time he dropped back, I feel like.
His receivers dropped a lot of passes, like we said.
There were a lot of passes that were thrown behind people, that were thrown at people's feet. It looked like a Donovan McNabb performance out of Jared Goff, a little bit. What was the thing about Donovan? Oh, he throws at people's feet. He throws behind the receiver.
Goff was throwing at people's feet.
That's exactly what Goff was doing.
And that's a really good offensive line.
They do have a good offensive line. Penei Sewell is one of the best offensive linemen in the entire NFL. And
one of the best offensive lines in the league going up against one of the best defensive lines, and the defensive line showed up.
And I mean, he was matched up on JD for most of the game, and JD had a fantastic, phenomenal game. He had the 3 pass deflections. He had a tackle for loss. I don't think he had a sack, but he definitely had, I think, 3 or 4 run stops where he stopped the run at the line. So JD did a great job against supposedly one of the best offensive linemen in the game in Penei Sewell. So this defense is legit. There's nothing that this defense is incapable of accomplishing, I feel like.
Yeah, it was the Kobe Dean and Phillips who both had sacks.
Yeah, and I think Hunt had a decent amount. I don't know if he had a sack, but I saw him in the backfield a lot. I saw Jalix Hunt in the backfield a very good amount of times. I think he had a tackle for a loss, but I don't know if he had a sack. But I think he had like 3 or 4 quarterback hits on Jared Goff.
Yeah, so the pressure was obviously getting to Goff.
Oh, yeah.
And when the pressure's coming to you like that, he can't escape and run like Jalen Hurts does.
Yeah.
So which causes him to throw at people's feet and overthrow receivers, and obviously it led to a lot of misplays from Goff.
If you are going to be getting pressured every other time you drop back, I feel like it doesn't even matter what quarterback you are. Even if you can scramble and run out of stuff, you can't scramble every other play. It doesn't matter who the Eagles are going up against, the quarterback. At this point, I don't think. The defensive line just continues to play how they are. Yeah. They're going to win a lot of football games.
They would do the same against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, Lamar might have a little bit more escapability, so you might get burned on some longer runs, but you're still getting that pressure constantly on him. And I don't care if you're, Mr. Incredible. If you can't shake off 7 defenders at once,
that's not going to be happening in the NFL.
So if they just continue to play how they are, it's almost to the point where I don't really think that it matters if the offense doesn't really figure it out, because the defense is going to hold people to under 16 points a game consistently and routinely. It doesn't, as long as the offense scores 2 touchdowns, you're basically going to win.
Yeah, and Dallas's defense allows 29.2 points per game.
Yeah.
So
they did look
the Eagles
better
need to
last
take
week.
that. Yep. Let's transition to the offense, because once again, the Eagles are going to be without some linemen.
Yep.
Lane Johnson's going on IR. Jurgens practiced.
I was going to say, I think Jurgens did practice today.
Jurgens practiced, but if most likely going to be Brett Toth at center. They already announced that Fred Johnson's going to take Lane Johnson's spot.
And he's been
good.
He's been good since, he's came in to fill in for Lane Johnson like 3 or 4 other games so far this year. And he's been very good when called upon. He's also been the guy that they trot out there when they run their jumbo package, when they bring an extra offensive lineman on. Fred Johnson's the guy that they've been bringing on. So even though he's technically the backup, he's still been playing a lot. So I don't really think you're going to see a big drop-off.
That trade's been paying off for the Eagles significantly now with all the lineman injuries they've been having to deal with all season.
Yeah, which we're not accustomed to. We're accustomed to this offensive line staying healthy. I mean, over the past 2 or 3 seasons, does any point in time stick out for you that we've had a notable offensive lineman go down for multiple weeks?
Not that I can totally think of.
Neither do I, that I remember, at least off the top of my head. I feel like
that line was mostly healthy for the entire season.
The only thing I can say was it Dickerson or Johnson who took like that 2 or 3 week hiatus from the team because he was going through personal stuff?
I think it might have been Lane.
Okay. That's literally the only instance I can think of where an offensive lineman has missed multiple games in the past like 2 or 3 seasons, which is really unheard of for offensive linemen. A lot of times offensive linemen can't really do much because they get hurt in ways that are out of their control. Someone steps on their foot, someone lands on their leg. It's very fluky.
This line's going to get tested, though, because the Cowboys did end up improving their defensive line.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Milton Williams.
Quinnen
Williams, not Milton.
Quinnen Williams, yeah.
Yeah, Milton's on the Patriots. I got them confused just because their last name is both Williams, but Quinnen Williams from the Jets.
Yep, they got Overshown back last week, and I didn't hear his name called too much, but
they got DeMarcus Lawrence still, or
I don't think so. Do they still have DeMarcus?
I don't know.
No. DeMarcus Lawrence is on the Seahawks.
I get those Lawrences confused.
Oh, you're thinking of Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence.
He's on the Giants.
Okay.
Dexter Lawrence. They've got...
I get those Lawrences confused.
There was someone else that I think came back for them last week, but I don't think they were a lineman. I think they were someone in the secondary. It wasn't Diggs. I know that.
It was
someone
Bland?
else. Yes, Deron Bland. He was back for them.
You got Diggs and Deron Bland, which are both interception merchants.
Yep. Which plays into, I think, the Eagles' hands by the fact that Jalen Hurts isn't going to throw something that's going to be picked off. So,
because the receivers have, well, not the receivers, but the team, some teammates have came out and have expressed their frustration that Jalen Hurts is playing very conservative, and then Hurts.
I mean, that's what we've been saying for the past 2 weeks.
Pretty much.
Everyone's been like, blame Patullo, blame AJ, and me and you are sitting here like, I mean, kind of also got to blame the quarterback.
Gotta blame the quarterback, And then Hurts said he's willing to hold himself accountable.
Which, I mean, what else is he gonna say?
He really can't. He really can't say I'm not just gonna throw to my receivers because I'm scared.
And he also can't just come out and give us the Ben Simmons treatment of I am who I am. This is who I is.
Yeah,
that's not gonna fly.
That's not gonna fly in this city after recent events. But could we see Jalen take more risks against the Cowboys with he's not dealing with any wind or cold? He's going to have his receivers. He's heard the
It depends what you define as risks. Because I think he will take more deep shots, but I don't think that necessarily means he's going to take more risks.
Is he going to take risks as in, deep shots or...
Because one of the things about... I mean, you just said it. Bland and Diggs are both interception heavy. They're both ball-hawking defenders. So what does that mean most of the time when they're in coverage? They like to drop underneath routes to be able to pick the ball off. What has Jalen been doing the past couple of weeks? Overthrowing people. So if you overthrow people while the defense is trying to undercut stuff, you might get a couple of big wide open plays down the field, which I'm thinking you're probably going to see. That's why I asked you, I was depends what you mean by risk. Because technically, I guess it is a bigger risk throwing the ball further.
For overthrow, yeah.
But
or a deep shot. Or if he just wants to, keep targeting his receivers on every single play and not hand the football off to his running back, he could also do that.
Well, they did rush the ball a lot last week. They ran the
did,
ball
yes.
26 times.
And Saquon only got a whopping 90 yards.
I mean, that's still 90 yards, and it's still...
It's still all right, but you think 26 carries is a lot for 90 yards.
Yeah, you're expecting, especially for Saquon, you're expecting probably like 110.
Yeah, that's only 3.5 yards a carry.
I mean, that's still something.
Average
to above average.
With Saquon, you think you'd be getting like,
you're expecting 4 to like 4.5 per carry.
Or maybe
most
even
of the time.
like 5 to 7 yards.
And I mean, it really just highlights how this offensive line hasn't been able to really work as a unit this entire season by the fact that he can't get those big runs like he did last year.
They can't get those big runs, and a huge factor of that is because they've been battling a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard when the offensive line has only played one game together the full season, and everyone's getting switched out. It's hard to stay on track.
And it's not just that. It's also the fact that even the linemen who are playing aren't able to do this. They aren't able to execute the same runs that they were the previous season. What I mean by that is a lot of what the Eagles did last season to make their running game really explosive was doing counters, pulling guards and having them come across the line so they can get up in front of Saquon Barkley and block for him ahead of him. They don't have the agility and the mobility on their offensive line to do that this year. You can't. It's hard for you to sit there and go, "Yo, Dickerson or Johnson, I'm going to pull you to the other side of the line," when they've had multiple lower body injuries so far this season. You're going
to risk another injury, and then
right.
What, he's done for the season now?
And if you're not able to do those same type of offensive line mechanical things that you were able to do last year that got you those explosive plays. Think about it. How many times did we say Saquon go outside the tackles for a big gain last year? Because they were able to pull guards
plenty of times
outside of where the defined tackle box is.
There's plenty of times.
Yeah, they haven't been able to do that this year.
They have not been able to do that this year. They've been able to do it once.
Right.
Where Saquon got that big run against the Giants.
Part of that is the fact that the offensive line just isn't as mobile as they were last year because they're banged up. So some of it is a little bit like maybe just, okay, Saquon's obviously not going to have the same type of year he had last year. But the other part of it is this offensive line hasn't been healthy enough to even give Saquon the opportunity to have the same year that he did last year. So,
and I mean, like, when you have a big season like that, it's kind of hard to replicate, like, almost perfect campaign, but it's not really like his fault, honestly, when you got so much problems with the offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm saying is that, everyone, there are people, not everyone, but there are people that are like, oh, is Saquon changed? Is he a year older? Is he getting slower? Is there something wrong? And I don't really think that there's something wrong with Saquon.
One of the main factors of running the football is having the offensive line block for you. And it's kind of hard when the offensive line is not on track because they're always getting injured.
And then the other dichotomy of this little coin here is the fact that Jalen Hurts is not having as much designed runs as he did last year. If there's no threat of Jalen Hurts running, then people are going to be more keyed in on Saquon Barkley, obviously. If you have the threat of Jalen Hurts running back there and either having him hand it off or having him tuck it and run, you're now making the defenders make a choice at the line of scrimmage in a split second, where that's not happening this year. Jalen Hurts isn't getting those same plays for him where he's designed running the ball. He's taking the ball instead of Saquon. He's had how many design runs probably all year? I feel like I could count it on two hands.
Probably
about 10.
He doesn't design run that much. And if you want to call the tush push a design run,
that's not a design run.
That's a QB sneak.
It's a QB sneak. It's not a designed run. He's not taking the snap from the shotgun and then moving forward with the line.
I feel like when Hurts is...
When he's at his best, he's running.
He's running, yes. But he hasn't been running a lot. I don't know if he's scared or what.
I think that's coming from the coaching by the fact that they don't want to risk him getting hurt. especially
I can see
because
that.
he has had seasons where he's run more and he's had knee problems. 2 years ago in 2023, he had the brace. Last year, I don't think he had any point of time where he missed any games
It's
other
also
than that
happened
one.
and think of mobile quarterbacks. Like, look at Jackson Dart. I mean, that dude's been banged up all season, been placed in concussion protocol. The Giants have been
Yeah.
asking him, like, you got to switch up what you do because you're going to keep getting concussions. You're going to have
Yeah, he's not a smart runner.
You're going to have CTE.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the
Lamar's
thing. Dart's not smart when
Lamar
he runs
has
the ball.
been dealing with loads of injuries throughout his career. He just got injured recently this year. And then look what happened when he didn't run against Cleveland. Myles Garrett sacked him 4 times.
And also look what happens when Josh Allen runs the ball. He tends to be a little.
Yeah.
He tends to be
I saw that
little
hit.
loose.
I
with
didn't
the
watch
ball.
the game, but I saw that hit on replay. That looked ugly.
Yeah, and you don't want your quarterback taking those hits. Plus, you don't want your quarterback really. Here's the thing where I struggle, because quarterbacks they don't go through the same type of rigorous training that running backs do in holding on and securing the football. How many times have we seen a quarterback trying to run for a first down, gets hit pretty hard, loses the ball? Happened to Josh Allen
It literally
last
happened
night.
with Hurts.
Happened to Josh Allen a couple weeks ago against Miami, where he's fighting to get more yards.
Against
and then,
Green Bay. It literally
boom.
happened with Hurts. He was running, and then bam, fumble.
Yeah, and if you want him to run more, then that is also playing into the whole Eagles thing of being risk averse, where he's going to fumble it. Because
they already showed it, and now he's going to be like, oh, I can't take that risk again and fumble.
Yeah. And plus, as the quarterback, if you're running, and God forbid you don't see the guy behind you, you don't see that there's a defensive lineman that hasn't given up on the play, you get hit from behind by some dude that's 285 pounds, and he lands on you. That don't feel no good.
Yeah, don't feel good.
So,
especially with the added weight on top of you.
Yeah, so I think it is a little bit of them trying to protect Jalen. Like, they don't want him to go through and take any unnecessary hits that he doesn't have to. But you still need to have the threat of him running with the ball for this offense to really get to the next gear where we all want them to be, you know? It's hard to sit there and have deep shots down the field when no one's worried about play action coming. No one's worried about Jalen potentially taking off with the ball. No one's worried about Saquon going 20 to 30 yards like he was last year. If you're a defensive back, it's a lot easier for me to keep my back to you right now because you're being so conservative. So I can really just focus on, all right, I need to stick with my man. And then the other thing is, I know this goes kind of against what I just said, but teams are now starting to run a lot of zone against Jalen Hurts for the fact that it keeps eyes in on the quarterback, so it prevents him from feeling like he can run, and it throws off the timing of where these plays are supposed to go, where last year in man coverage, you may have had A.J. Brown open on a slant. That's not open this year because there are people sitting in that zone. And Jalen Hurts has been too trigger shy to try to attack and go in between the zones. How many times have we seen Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, the great ones, where they're facing zone, wide receiver just finds a soft spot and just sits there?
A lot.
They don't continue their route. They notice, like, hey, I'm wide open right here. This is a spot in the zone where they're missing.
Like with Hurts, like, he doesn't see those receivers
right. He doesn't take those. He doesn't take that risk to, I need to just float this over the guy that's looking at me to get it to the guy that's behind him. He just doesn't make those types of throws. So the fact that he's gun shy against the zone and he's not running, coupled with the fact that this offensive line isn't healthy 100%, has made this offense look like a shell of itself from the last season.
It's obviously making a show of itself, and they got to improve against the Cowboys because this is a defense they should beat up on.
And I think the only way this improves is if Jalen Hurts starts running with the football.
Running and his deep shots and just playing like how he used to play in those peak seasons.
I mean, if he starts running with the ball, that forces one of the safeties over top to drop down into the box. Now you got one high safety up top. If you have one high safety up top, you now are getting one-on-ones with either Devontae or AJ because that safety help is going to one of them, not two of them. And if you're able to get one of those guys in a one-on-one matchup, more often than not, Devontae Smith or AJ Brown are going to win those. They haven't been doing that this year because they're constantly getting safety help on the two of them because they don't have to bring a safety down into the box to worry about the run this year. And that's really where this problem is coming with the offense. We can sit here and say it's all these other things. I think the root of it is the fact that last year Jalen was running, and because Jalen was at that threat of running, defenses had to bring one safety down and play in the box. When that safety no longer has to play in the box and can sit up top, and you got the two high safeties, you're not going to get those explosive plays over the top like we saw last year. How many times did we just see A.J. Brown on a slant and go get 40-something yards? Or Devontae Smith on a post where he's wide open.
This season?
No, last season. I feel like I saw Devontae Smith get open on post routes routinely every game last year. He's not getting that this year.
He's only
there's
got
safety
that, like,
help now.
a couple of times. 2 or 3 times?
Yeah. So the way that this offense really gets going is if Jalen Hurts starts to run the ball. Or at least that's what I think. I don't know if you're in the same thinking as me, but
I don't think they're going to run it this week. I don't think they're going to run it just because of, like what you said, the conservatism.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if Jalen's going to take that risk, especially in a high-stakes game. I don't know.
I don't know if he will either.
I don't know if he will either, yeah. But I mean, this game, if the Eagles win this game, I shouldn't have to say this, but the NFC East is pretty much already wrapped up by now.
Yeah,
if
they win this game, then there's no way that anyone from the East can catch up to them.
The Giants are 2-8. The Washington is 3-8.
And realistically,
Cowboys are 4-5-1.
If they win this game and potentially the Rams lose, I feel like they're a lock for the number 1 seed.
That's sole possession for the number 1 seed right there.
Yeah, because it's not like they have it's not like they have a hard schedule, I would say, the rest of the way. They've got one really big matchup, Week 17 against the Bills. But we just saw
the Bills look silly against the Texans.
Their defense isn't legit at all.
And Allen just threw 2 interceptions, too.
Yeah, and they just got torched by a guy that's a backup quarterback.
Yeah, Davis Mills.
Yeah, and it's not like he is the same type of player that Jalen Hurts is. Now, he is more of a passer, and maybe that plays into how well he did, but it's not like the Buffalo defense is great. Yeah, this Buffalo defense has gotten scored on by Miami.
Could definitely have a lock for the 1 seed. We'd be the worst 1 seed ever, scoring 10 points a game, but hey, we got the 1 seed.
It'll be like the 1986 Bears, where they're the 1 seed by the fact that no team was able to score more than 18 points on them.
That's how it's going to be for us. But they will wear the Kelly Greens,
which they
in this game are undefeated in for now. So not going to jinx anything, obviously.
I mean, only 5, right? They've
only
won
5
games.
Only 5 games against teams wearing the Kelly Green: the Giants, Cowboys, Giants, Dolphins, and Bills.
So still a small sample size, but undefeated nonetheless.
Yes, this will be the first time they're wearing the Kelly Greens away. Tom Brady's calling the game again, of course.
Which I'm not too thrilled about, but I think that it's better having him than it is having Tony Romo.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not a huge...
Because that's all we get now. All we get is the, A-team or...
Yeah, the national
broadcasting
window. So, I mean, I don't even know... Do they have another 1 o'clock start the entire rest of the year?
Yeah, against the Raiders.
Yeah, and that's it,
now.
Right?
There's a couple of games, I think, week 16 and 18 are to be determined.
Okay, so those potentially could be 1 o'clocks as
games,
well.
Yeah.
But right now, going forward, it's looking like we're basically having a national broadcast every week
pretty
from
much,
here on out. So,
because, I mean, when you think about it, it's defending Super Bowl champions. Everyone thinks... Fox still thinks the Cowboys are America's team, so of course they got to give them the, A team, no matter who they play.
Well, plus the Eagles-Cowboys is always going to get
Yeah, and obviously the Eagles-Cowboys
a prime time slot.
is a historic rivalry.
Whether or not it's the night game or the 4 o'clock game or the Monday night game, you're never going to see an Eagles-Cowboys game start at 1 o'clock. That's not going to happen.
No, unless it's unless it was like last year where the Cowboys were, dead in the water.
Right. If the game doesn't mean anything, then maybe it'll be at 1. But in years where either team is playing for something, that game is not going to be at 1 o'clock. It's going to be a 4:25 or a Sunday night, Monday night.
Yep.
Yeah. So one thing that I do want to note, which a lot of people have been saying, is Prescott at home is 29-2 against the NFC East in his career. So he's taken that record up against the Kelly Green undefeated. Something's going to have to give here.
Yep, we'll have to see. But, we can always trust Prescott to, make a couple mistakes here and there.
Well, big thing for me this week is, do those receivers drop as many balls as they did the first time they played and as much as they have in the past couple of weeks?
Probably not.
Because CeeDee Lamb had a bunch of drops in that first game. He had, 4 drops in the second half alone?
Yeah, which pretty much gave the Eagles to win. If Lamb catches any of those, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, and probably the Eagles lose.
Yep.
So this isn't going to be just like some cakewalk game. I understand that the Cowboys are 4-5-1, and their record doesn't really look like this should be a contest on paper. But it's not going to be easy, I don't think, this game.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be another one-score game,
Another
probably.
one-score game where the defense is going to be on their highest gear again.
And the defense is probably going to have to give the offense some short fields once again in order for this team to come out on top and win this game. But I do think they win.
We'll see. I do think they win as well, but anything is possible, especially with the offense. But the defense, I know, will step up big time.
And with that, let's move into the 76ers, because there was someone else that played some very good defense yesterday, and that was Paul George. Now, very unceremonious of me to start this off with Paul George when probably the entire city still hates him. But if we're going to criticize someone, we at least got to give them their props for when they have a good game. And in a very limited capacity last night, Paul George played fantastic. He had 21 points, 3 steals, 9 rebounds, 3 assists in 25 minutes. That's pretty damn good.
Pretty good for the limited amount of time he's getting.
Right. That's pretty solid from anyone over a 25-minute point in a game.
He also wore the 01 uniforms that night. I didn't know they actually wore them away, but I guess they do now.
And I think they're going to wear them 4 more times, I think.
The next one is, I think, Sunday they're going to wear them again.
So those are going to be popping up periodically, and kind of like with the Eagles with the Kelly Greens, they seem to play better when they've got those jerseys on. They seem to play pretty well in those
jerseys on. Yep.
So I don't know if this really is just one of those look good, feel good type of things, or if this is just a mental thing where they're retro night, the Allen Iverson logo. Tyrese Maxey had an Allen Iverson performance last night.
Yeah, because now we got to talk about Tyrese Maxey.
And he was
freaking
fantastic.
MVP, 54 points in the overtime victory. Has got his average up to 33.4 points.
Yeah, which is only behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka. And I'm pretty sure
that's actually no second place now, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was at 32 going
there we go.
State's game.
And then I know Jokic is having a good season too, but if you were to take an early front runner for MVP right now, it's probably those 3 guys: SGA, Maxey, and
Luka.
Jokic.
Yeah, or Luka Doncic.
Yeah, or Luka potentially. But I think that his numbers will start to wane as LeBron gets more and more involved with how this Lakers team is going to end up looking, especially because LeBron is just such a
key factor.
He's such a heavy usage guy where the ball is always in his hands. And if you're going to have someone that wins MVP as a guy that's not the main dominant ball handler, That's usually not where the MVP goes. Usually goes to whoever is the highest usage rate on whatever team they are. And
obviously for the Sixers, that's Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, yeah. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. No matter if Joel gets healthy and plays the entire rest of the season.
Which I don't
This is
really
Tyrese Maxey's team now.
This is, yeah.
This is 100% his team.
18 for 30 from the field, 40% from 3, 9 assists, 5 boards, 3 steals.
That's looking like AI numbers
That
right
is
there.
AI numbers right there. He's replicating AI greatness
MVP season.
in the same uniform that
Yeah.
Allen Iverson wore, just about the number 3.
And that's got to be said for something. The last time that we saw a guard play this well in this city was Allen Iverson in his MVP season. You know, and what happened that season? They rode him all the way to the freaking finals.
They went to the finals. They did this with Joel with his MVP.
Mm-hmm. And
they got bounced in the second round. Of course they did.
And mind you, Tyrese Maxey, the team he's got around him, is much better than the team that Allen Iverson had around him.
Mm-hmm. Plenty of superstars.
Yeah.
Joel when healthy. Paul George when healthy.
Like
you got
second best player on that AI team was what? Dikembe Mutombo, some guy that they traded for halfway through the season?
Players like Quentin Grimes coming off the bench. You got a rookie who looks like to be a future star in VJ Edgecombe.
He's got to get his consistency down a little bit.
Yeah, you got Kelly Oubre, who's currently rehabbing a sprained LCL, but
I mean, he'll probably be back in sprained LCL, depending upon the severity of the sprain.
He'll probably be back soon, but
3 weeks maybe, 3 to 4.
He's been a pretty key factor for this team so far. Then what you said,
yeah.
You got the bench players. You got Jaron McCain coming back to this team now.
Yep. You got Quentin Grimes, who has been a great scorer off the bench, and he's giving you three-point shooting. He's giving you floor spacing. He's giving you some pretty decent passing. And one thing that I can say that is really good about this team that I wasn't expecting, there's a lot of good passers on this team. There's a lot of people that don't make stupid decisions with the basketball in their hands, I feel like. Maxey, pretty good passer, right? I feel like we can all agree on that. Joel Embiid is one of the best passers in the NBA as a center, right? We can all sit here and agree on that.
Yeah.
Paul George is a pretty good passer. Kelly Oubre has been racking up assists. You got Quentin Grimes coming off the bench doing stuff like behind-the-back passes.
You got Drummond racking up double-doubles every single night.
And now he's turning into like a three-point guy where he's taking like 3 threes a game now.
He's taking 3 shots for some reason.
Yeah, he's taking like 3 threes a game and he's making one of them.
What?
So there's a lot of things going for this team that if you would have told me at the beginning of the season, I would have looked at you and said you're crazy. If I would have looked at you and told you that Andre Drummond is going to be a 3-point specialist or a 3-point sharpshooter before the start of the season, you'd probably look at me like I got 2 heads. You'd be like, Andre Drummond?
He's doing a very fantastic job filling in for Joel Embiid, who still continues to rehab from that. Well,
the knee soreness.
The knee soreness.
I don't really think there's a injury designation for him.
There's not.
Nothing saying that there's a sprain or something like that.
He's been practicing and shoot around and warming up. So
once again, it's just that swelling, dude.
It's the swelling.
I don't know what it's with him and the swelling.
It's not going to be major, but at some point in the season, you think it's going to come back to him, where he's going to have to sit out again.
Yeah, and my thing is like there has to be some type of underlying issue that's causing the swelling. He shouldn't just be having a swelled knee for the entire rest of his life. And that's kind of what it seems like right now. Is like no matter what he does, it's just, I've got swelling in the knee. I've got swelling in my knee. We don't know what the cause is. We don't know why. Like, how do you not know why? Like you've got teams of doctors, you got nutritionists, strength coaches, and all this stuff. None of you can figure out why there's swelling in a knee.
Find out how there's a swelling knee.
Like, it's not like it's a rocket science. It's not like this is like an impossible math equation or something like that. Like, it's a swelled knee. We should be able to figure this out here. And for some reason now, this is a year and a half, we haven't been able to figure out his swelling in the knee and why it keeps swelling. Why won't it go down? That's really dumbfounding to me.
It's weird.
It's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if maybe like they are just being precautionary, where even if there's a little bit of swelling, they're just like, nah, we don't want to risk it. But with the amount of time he's missed just to swelling for the past season and a half, or the past season and, I guess 1/5 of this season, is a little confusing. Because you don't see other people having this issue. And they always come out and say there's nothing structurally wrong with the knee. If there's nothing structurally wrong, then how come you haven't been able to figure out why the guy's knee keeps ballooning? It's just really odd. Really odd. And you would think that at some point he's going to come back.
You hope it doesn't go away, but it's going to stay there probably for the rest of his career.
Yeah, and they're going to have to figure out some way to manage it to get him onto the court.
Yeah, well, it's another question then I'm going to ask you. Will the injury bug continue to plague the team this season? And it looks like it could be a factor with Joel and his knee soreness.
Yeah, and one thing that always seems to pop up with this team is injury, even if it's not Joel. We've had a lot of weird injuries here.
Kelly's obviously injured right now.
Even if you look in past years, we've had some freak injuries. The Andrew Bynum thing, the Markelle Fultz breaking his face, not breaking his face. He had some type of injury his first year that was a really random freak injury. Bynum with the knee thing, with his bowling, doing his bowling thing. Amir Johnson, when he was here, had some weird injury history. There's just been a lot of...
It was thoracic outlet syndrome. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was
the same thing that Wheeler has, right? The blood clot? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah, I actually think it is. It might be.
That's just... The Sixers have really weird and random injury circumstances, I feel like, a lot of the time.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler's is...
Thoracic outlet syndrome, right?
Thoracic outlet syndrome, yep.
Mm-hmm. So, that's like... How many times are you going to get a player that's got blood clots in this city? That's not a common thing, I feel like.
It's not a common thing.
And so I would expect that there's going to be some more injuries.
Philadelphia, the city of blood clots.
The city of random injuries.
Yeah, the city of random injuries and blood clots.
We've gone over it just with Joel. He's got someone land on his leg. He gets Bell's palsy. He runs into his teammate and breaks his orbital bone. Those are random
this team
injuries.
Can't catch a break with its injuries.
So I'm going to sit there and say, yes, the injury bug is probably going to continue to plague them all year again this year. Hopefully it's just not the entire year. Hopefully it's just a couple weeks here and there. Oh, well, someone rolled his ankle. He'll be back in 2 weeks. Or this guy sprained his knee. He'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm hoping that's the extent of what these injuries are, but with the randomness and the severity of those random injuries that always happen here, there's probably going to be someone that gets his foot ran over by a car and they're out for 3 months, because that's the type of shit that happens to this team. That's the shit that happened to Kelly Oubre, so... My point exactly. Look at that. What other city do you have a basketball player getting run over on his foot by a random citizen? And that's the reason for their injury dessegration.
It's like a Looney Tunes episode.
Yeah, it's like frickin' Tom and Jerry around here. I'm almost expecting
Looney Tunes over
some
here.
rat to come out and just smack someone in the face with a hammer, and they've got a concussion and they're out for 2 days. So this injury bug, it hasn't ever gone away, I feel like, this entire Joel era, and I don't think it's going to start this year. And who is going to get the random injury, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm sure at some point there's going to be a really random injury that happens where everyone's going to be like, how is that even possible?
It's going to be like slipping and injuring your hip after falling off the toilet seat.
Or it'll be like... stepped out my front door and there was ice on my steps, so I fell down the steps and now I broke my leg and I'm out for 4 months. And it's like, what? I really hope that doesn't doesn't happen.
Or like breaking your jaw after eating something improperly.
Yeah,
Like-
or the guy on the Devils, the
Jack Hughes.
Yeah. to a steakhouse and I got glass in my finger.
Oh, God.
Like what is going on?
So here's a fun fact about Jack Hughes and the injury. So he was eating team dinner in I think it was Chicago. Guess who was at that team dinner?
Joel Embiid?
No, Frank the Tank.
Did see that Frank the Tank was there.
Frank the Tank was at that.
Our beloved Frank.
Frank the Tank was at the team dinner where
Did he break his glasses then too?
he probably did. And Frank the Tank was at the team dinner with Jack Hughes, and that caused him to.
Frank yelled so loud it startled him and he dropped his glass and all of a sudden, there you go.
He's like, what kind of luck is that? He got stuck with Frank the Tank, the most negative guy on the planet, to get injured for like 8 weeks.
By a freaking glass
Glass. Like, that's such a joke.
Like, the Sixers aren't the only ones that have random injuries.
Yeah, no.
But, like, the amount of random injuries that just happen is insane to me. Like, what are the chances? What is the probability that I go out to a steakhouse and I get a piece of glass wedged into my finger? Just regardless of injury designation.
That's hilarious.
Just what is the probability of that happening? Like 3%?
Not even.
Like, it's just like, wow. I don't understand how this shit keeps happening, but it keeps happening. So, who's going to have that random injury? I have no idea. But I'm putting my money down that at some point we're going to see...
BJ Edgecombe slips out of his apartment and breaks his leg.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point if someone got into a fight and, like, they got their face broken or some shit like that. Like, because that's where we are now.
Pretty much.
Essentially, we're in that territory of, like, well, I took my son to, I took my son to the batting cages and he freaking smacked one back in my face. I got a broken nose and now I'm out for 2 months. Like, this is the type of random shit that seems to happen here. Like, am I wrong? So, with all that being said, one thing that we can say that's pretty good, or at least good about what happened last night with the Sixers, is that they actually played a good third quarter. For, like, one of the only times all season.
They did. They only lost the third quarter by 2 points.
Only got outscored by 2, and they end up winning the game. Look at that. If you end up just not putting yourself in, like, freaking 15 to 20 point holes every third quarter, you're going to win some goddamn games.
The day they won the day they won the third quarter, which was in Detroit, they ended up losing that game. So it's the third quarter is a curse to the Sixers team so far.
Yeah.
You win a third quarter, you lose the game. You lose the third quarter, you win a game.
And it's like they come back and win all these games too. Like
they do, yeah.
They have what?
Comeback kids.
8 comeback wins out of the 10 wins that they have on the season.
All of them are against double digits.
And 4 of them have been in overtime. Or 3 of them have been in overtime, right?
Yeah, which is crazy to think that these games have been going to overtime this early already in the season.
Yeah, so, I mean, they got to start playing some games where they're no longer going into overtime, because more overtime keeps happening, the more likely that some random injury is just going to happen.
Okay, guess who keeps going into overtime? The Flyers.
Yeah, them too. I don't know what's up with the Xfinity Mobile Arena, but there's something that's in that arena that's making the teams go into overtime.
It's the name switch.
It's the
name switch is
Xmo
causing
Arena.
the teams to go in overtime. Yes, this is the 2 out of 3 games, which it's like St. Louis, Dallas, St. Louis.
Well, here's the thing.
They both
If
went
there's
into
overtime, then that means the broadcasters are going to say the name of the arena more. So maybe this is all marketing.
It's all marketing scheme to Xfinity Mobile Arena. One of them's going to slip up and say Wells Fargo Center.
It'll happen at some point.
I know.
It's going to be by some national guy. You know, it'll be someone that's in for, some type of national audience game. It'll probably be something like on TNT. Or does TNT still carry NBA?
Yeah, TNT still does.
They just don't have
actually
the
no, that
show,
doesn't.
Right?
They don't do NBA. They do. That's NBC now.
Well, either way, you're going to get someone like Ian Eagle that comes in and is going to be like, welcome to the the Xfinity Arena.
I'm gonna say
So
after like 3 years or a year or so, they'll get used to it.
yeah, after a year, they'll get used to it. I mean, I remember when the Devil Rays changed their name. There were multiple times I saw people on SportsCenter be like the Tampa Bay Rays.
I feel like some people still call them the Devil Rays, the Anaheim Angels, stuff like that.
Yeah, but there's something going on with this arena that is making these teams go into these overtime games.
Doesn't matter because they're winning.
Because Flyers now have 9 overtime games as well, out of 18 total.
They won in
half
overtime.
Of their games.
Yep, they got the 2 points. Travis Sanheim with the game winner. Nobody in the NHL has more comeback wins than the Philadelphia Flyers.
It's 'cause no one else has to constantly
has to
come down from that much all the time. They're playing down almost. I think they've played from behind in all but 2 games that they've played so far this year.
Their only loss from this past 3 games came from Dallas.
Dallas is a really good team.
Yeah, I heard Dallas is a really good team.
Dallas is really, really good.
I guess that's like a scheduled loss in the book.
I mean, yes, you got them on the road, sandwiched in between St. Louis. It's not like St. Louis is a great team, so.
And they were able to beat St. Louis in both of those games.
Yep.
Even though it took them to the extra periods, they were able to get those 2 points in both of those games.
Well, the thing that's impressive for me is you beat the same team twice in 6 days. That's pretty impressive, regardless of who that team is. If you just saw a team 6 days ago, you're going to expect that they're going to figure out some way to counteract what you just threw at them. And St. Louis couldn't figure it out. So that's one thing that at least we can sit here and go, hey, they beat the same team twice within 6 days. That should be good going forward for the team's confidence, the coaching staff, and maybe it'll get a little bit more belief in these guys after, especially they got killed by
Dallas, yeah.
So
going into that game, you think they would say, all right, we've seen this team already, we won in the shootout, let's see if we can try to improve what we can do.
Yeah, and they ended up improving by scoring in overtime, not needing to get to the shootout.
Not having to get to the shootout, which is nice.
Which I'm pretty sure they've been in, 5 shootouts already?
And they've won all the shootouts they've been in.
Which is crazy. That's not going to keep up forever.
No, it's not.
Number one. So they got to start, finishing these games off.
The goalkeepers turn insane once it's, shootout for some odd reason. They always...
Ursan let up, 6 goals, and yet he didn't let up a single in the shootout.
He just all nonchalant, doesn't let up anything in the shootout.
So there's something going on with this. I don't know if it's the ice. I don't know if it's people's skates. I don't know if it's the arena. I don't know if it's the coaching.
I don't know if he's getting into people's heads or...
I don't know. But there's something going on where these teams are just not able to close the door when the game is actually supposed to be over. They like to just...
Yeah.
They like to stay out late,
for some reason. Weird.
These young teams, because they're both young, too. That's the crazy part. The Sixers have got a lot of young players, and the Flyers also have a lot of young players. And it's weird that the young guys are playing better.
The younger guys usually are supposed to stay out a little bit later. So.
Right. So I guess it lines up, but it's just funny how it works that way,
It's funny, yeah.
So... They're going to have to start getting some regulation wins, though, to keep these old guys from keeling over by the end of the year.
Their next game is against the Jack Hughesless Devils. So you can...
Hopefully that should be a 2-point win.
Hopefully that should be a 2-point win, because if that's a 2-point win, that means we get a Frank the Tank video to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And
either way, I think we're going to get a Frank the Tank video where he's going to be pissed off about something. Because that just seems to be his whole demeanor.
You'll see him post 100 tweets on Twitter, and you'll see, oh, okay, so clearly something's going wrong with the Devils. When I'm not watching the game, I'll just see Frank's 1,000 tweets.
Oh, yeah.
Tweeting about random stuff. They will lose by 1,000.
The Devils are never gonna win another game this year. Jack Hughes is gonna be gone for the rest of my existence.
Yeah,
he's never gonna come back.
He would say something like that. Yep.
He would be like, Jack Hughes is gonna step into traffic. He's not going to be able to play. But hopefully for Frank the Tank's blood pressure, I mean,
Oh, God.
hopefully he's able
Hopefully.
to keep it in check.
Obviously, we want a Flyers win, but we also want a Frank the Tank video to go along with that. So
I mean, I don't want Frank the Tank to be like sent to the hospital.
Yeah.
He's like freaking out over this shit.
it's not baseball season yet.
It's too early for
Yep.
this, Frank. It's too early.
It's not.
But let's get to some of the player performances. Owen Tippett has had a fantastic 3-game stretch. He's gotten 2 goals and 5 assists in these 3 games, which pretty damn good considering that your team has only scored 11 goals in those games and you're responsible for 5 of those points. Basically half. That's pretty damn good. Trevor Zegras continues to just keep scoring goals. 3 goals in regulation. He had the overtime goal that helped them move past St. Louis in the shootout.
Still continues to struggle.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Still
up with.
collecting 0 points over these last 3 games.
He hasn't
not
looked
scoring
great.
in the shootout.
He's not getting a lot of his ice minutes have been reduced a little bit. He only had, I believe, 18 minutes of ice time as the average over the past 3 games. It was previously at 20 the last time that we had spoke. So I don't know what's going on with Matvei Michkov. I mean, seems to be that I don't know if he's getting forced out by other guys who are playing well, or
That's probably what it is. He's getting forced out.
or if it's just the fact that Tocchet hasn't really found the line that he clicks with the most yet. Because there's something going with the season he had last year. I understand that you're expecting a little bit of a regression for the sophomore year. You're now probably going to be one of the guys on the
Everyone
scouting
always
report.
says the sophomore slump.
But this is a pretty profound slump so far to start the season. And we're deep enough into the season at this point where it's not like...
Where we could say, like, this is a big slump.
Yeah, it's not where we're still at the point of the year where we're like, oh, well, this could just be a tiny stretch that he's not performing well. No, this has been the course of the first, 20 games that he has not been very good. And 20-something games is a pretty decent enough sample size at this point for you to at least start to get something going. And he just hasn't been able to... He hasn't been able to pass well. He hasn't been able to shoot. He hasn't been able to score in shootouts. It's been a rough start to the year for Matvei Michkov. And with how he played last year and the expectations for his career here going forward,
Expectations are high.
Rick Tocchett's got to get something figured out. Either a line that he plays good with, a specific running mate that you can stick him out there with, or something to get this guy just to break through a little bit, because he's one of those guys where if he's able to break himself out of this slump and get hot, he might be able to carry that with him the entire rest of the year. But it's going to be hard, it looks like, to get him out of this little slump that he's in right now. He's just not playing well. He's not skating well. He's not shooting the puck well.
He's missing his opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, we saw shootouts with him in it so many times last year, and I feel like there were not a lot of instances where he came up empty-handed during shootouts.
Now he's coming up empty-handed a lot more.
And we've had, 5 shootouts so far this year? He's only scored 1 time in those 5 shootouts. That's not the same guy that we saw last year.
Yeah, that's 1 for 5 in the shootout.
That's 20%.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's a failing grade.
Yeah, that's really bad. I understand it's only 5 shootouts. Let's give him the entire rest of the season, but
you don't. Obviously, a shootout isn't guaranteed every single night.
Right, but at least you're probably expecting 3 out of 5?
A little more improvement, considering
not
that you
1 out of 5.
played in so much shootouts.
Yeah, so that's something that they gotta figure it out with him.
Mm-hmm.
But Christian Dvorak actually has been playing pretty well over these past 3 games as well. He got 2 goals, he got 2 assists in these 3 games. The only game that he didn't have a point in was the game against Dallas, but no one really played well.
No one really
in that game.
got a point in that game. So
no one played well in that game, so I can't really hold that against him. And last thing is, Vladar has just been absolutely fantastic coming over here from Calgary, being the backup over there.
Well, he should be the starter.
Yeah,
he should be the starter with the way he's playing.
Yeah, and I know that still, like, Sam Anderson's going to need to play some games because Vladar is not going to be able to play every single game. But they look so much better when Vladar
he
is in
should be getting the majority of the starts.
Ersan.
You know, you can't have Ersan giving up 6 goals a night.
No. And, I mean, he gave up that one game against the Blues where he gave up the 5 or 6. He gave up that 5 or 6 on only, I think it said, like 22 shots.
That's
horrible.
That is
save
horrible,
percentage.
man.
Like, you're giving up 5 goals on 22 shots? That is awful. That's like 20% of the shots going against you are in the back of the net.
But then turns into like Hercules once the shootout comes.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Maybe it's just he's good in one-on-one situations because he is able to play the angles really well. But I don't know what's up with that. But
I don't know
Vladar
either.
has been fantastic.
Yeah, he's definitely earned that number 1 keeper job.
Yeah, and if he keeps playing like this, he's going to start to get some national recognition as potentially one of the better goalkeepers in the entire NHL. Because going through his stats right now, he's top 10 in basically every goaltending category right now. And I understand still early in the season.
No one's not talking about him a lot. So.
Yeah, like it's not like the national guys have really started to pick it up. And do you really blame them? It's not like the Flyers are tearing the rubber off the puck.
They're not. They're a young team playing some exciting hockey.
Right.
But not like a powerhouse.
But if Vladar is able to continue to keep them in these games, then I do think that they have at least enough scoring potential to make a run for a playoff spot. Whether or not they actually make the playoffs, not entirely sure. I feel like a lot of that's going to have to come down to the trade deadline, and we see what they do at the trade deadline. Because this year is going to be very, very influential for the next couple of years.
Yeah, they could make it interesting. They might not make it, but if they look good coming into the end of the season and, you know, they show a lot of improvement, I would not be surprised they could definitely go for a deep playoff run next season.
Yeah. I mean, the way that they're playing right now, it's hard to tell whether or not they're going to be buyers or sellers, but it seems like they're going to be more towards buyers than sellers. Yep. Now, obviously, that can change very quickly.
If they want to improve the defense,
they're going to probably go out there and get some type of veteran defenseman, I feel like. Not someone that is going to only be here for like a year, but probably someone that can be here for 2 or 3, maybe 30 or 31 years old to get some leadership and maybe some playoff experience into this team, because this team doesn't have a lot of players with playoff experience on it right now. That would be my guess as to where they would be going if they are buying. But who knows? They could have a 4-game stretch where they lose all 4 and then they sell.
Exactly.
So it's still really too early to tell.
It's too early to tell, yeah.
But they're in a much better spot to be buyers this year than I think they were last year. And I like the coach a lot more.
Yeah, the coach is definitely improvement.
Yeah, definitely like Rick Tocchet so far much better than who was it last year?
John
Tortorella.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely like Rick Tocchet much better.
I don't really think the fan
this
base
year.
liked him either as well.
They did it first, and then he became really sour after like the first third of the season last year. He just became a real sourpuss. Like,
so besides
a grump.
Besides Tortorella, Tyrese Maxey is the MVP. Jalen Hurts has got to take more risks, and
JD's gonna get paid this offseason.
JD's gonna get paid. Yep.
JD is gonna get paid.
JD gonna get paid.
Hopefully, it's by the Eagles.
We hope, yeah. But thank you guys for watching, listening, not watching,
listening, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep. We'll see you before the Eagles game on Black Friday.